Okay. I want Shobha Dey to respond to that. There are certain sensitivities. That's what Salman Khurshid is saying. He's being open when he says that there are certain sensibilities, and as an expression of those sensibilities, the Congress is entitled to go to court. There's nothing wrong with that.
Of course they're entitled to go to court, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, but this overprotective attitude to a lady whose life is pretty out there. I mean, there are not that many secrets. From what I've read, the excerpts from the book, there's nothing all that objectionable either. But having said that, there are two examples I'd like to, again going back to cinema. One is a film called Guru, and the other is a Marathi film called Jenda, which very, very clearly was a story inspired by the Thackeray feuding Thackeray cousins. The resemblance, not just that, the entire structure of the movie was clearly based on Uddhav and Raj Thackeray. Similarly, Guru was very clearly based on Dhirubhai Ambani's life. Now, and there were lots of scenes in both the movies which the families could have considered highly objectionable. At any rate, it was a fictionalized account. Nobody had authorized either of the two films. Did anybody actually object? Did the viewers object? Or did the viewers take both the films in their stride and they drew their own conclusions? Similarly, a confident leader would say, let the book be out there in the bookstores and let the people of India decide. And if there is something that her minders or the people around her feel is so completely insensitive and is insulting to their leader, yes, like Salman Khurshid said, by all means, go to court and take what goes with it. We know how libel laws work, but there seems to be some kind of a pressure being brought on the author, which is beyond and outside what the courts would be delivering. So I think we're talking about two different things. We're talking about apples and pears here.
Okay, Javed wants to make a quick point before I end the debate.
My point is that the Congress party has nothing to fear. I mean, like Mr. R.K. Dhawan said earlier in the day, Mrs. Gandhi's life is an open book. The people of India will judge her on a track record, not on the opinion or not on what the author of a pulp fiction has to say. So the Congress party, I guess, is doing they've done Mr. Oro a great deal of publicity. I mean, he couldn't have got this publicity for $1 million rupees. They should have just ignored it, and people would have made their own judgment. Whatever people may say, Mrs. Gandhi's track record is there before the nation, and the nation has delivered its verdict in the past, and I'm sure it will do so in the future.
All right, and let that be the last word on this debate. Has the Congress overreacted? We leave it to our viewers to decide. For the moment, Mr. Salman Khurshid, thank you very much for joining us on the show this evening. Thanks also to Ravi Shankar Prasad and Javier Moro for joining us, where I know that you got a lot of free publicity and you'll probably be laughing all the way to the bank. Shobha Dey, for your incisive comments. Thank you very much for joining us on the Center Stage Face Off tonight. So what is it that this book really has, which has everybody up in arms? Javier Moro's book sketches a portrait of Sonia Maino, the girl Rajiv Gandhi fell in love with. And the Congress party is not very happy with that picture. And we tell you why. Here are some excerpts from Sonia Maino's early life as they appear in Moro's book.
She was so pretty that people turned round in the street to look at her. She walked very erect and her straight dark brown hair framed her Madonna-like face. That was when Sonia Maino was 18.
The idea of becoming an Alitalia stewardess, of earning her living traveling around the world, began to seduce her.
She was nice looking and well mannered. All she needed was to perfect her English.
Daddy, I want to go to England to learn English properly.
No way!
Sonia's father, Stefano Maino, was very old-fashioned. The father's side of the family, the Mainos, were rough-mannered, honest, direct and very hard-working.
The Mainos had no lands, just a few cows and a stone house that Stefano had built himself with his own hands. They were Pizen, as immigrants from the countryside were known insultingly in the north of Italy, a stigma that made them feel less than others and which gave them a complex that would last throughout their lives.
Perhaps a hard, rugged life had made Stefano stubborn, but Sonia was no less. She had made up her mind.
Well, knowing how stubborn her father was, Sonia avoided a confrontation with him. But deep down she was just as stubborn when she was convinced about what she wanted. It was in her blood.
Sonia won her mother's support and took her first steps to realize her ambition.
On the 7th of January 1965, she said goodbye to her sisters and gave Stalin, the old dog who'd been her playmate throughout her childhood, a big squeeze.
Sonia was excited about traveling alone for the first time and also afraid of the unknown. She was 18 years old and had her whole life ahead of her. A life that she could not have imagined in her wildest dreams. With Kartikeya Sharma in Delhi, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.